The name is Doctor. Disrespect.
What is going on, guys? First off, I'd just like to send a huge thank you to Min Liang Tan. If you guys don't know who he is, he's the CEO of Razer. For all you young guys, he's the big dog. So last Monday, he retweeted out the video I had made for Memorial Day. He liked it so much that he retweeted it on his own page, and he also told his team Razer to see what they can do to boost my YouTube viewership. So man, I just want to thank you so much. It's already been a huge boost to my channel, and it's an absolute privilege to be recognized by a man of your stature. For today's video, guys, Razer recently tweeted out that they're going to be giving away 5 Dr. Disrespect Razer mouse pads. So what I decided to do is create a lighting design for your keyboards that will go with this mouse pad. Not only that, Dr. Disrespect is by far one of the most entertaining, if not the most entertaining, Twitch streamers that is currently streaming in today's world. As always, there will be a download link in the description below. You can go down there and download this exact design. If you want to see exactly how I did it, maybe change up some of the lighting yourself, please stay tuned. I'm going to show you just that. Alright guys, so first things first with this design, what we're going to do is we're going to create the background first. So we're going to start with our effect layer over here, click on these 3 dots and change that to a wave pattern. That looks good. And what we're going to do is we're going to select all the keys that we have available to us. And I'm going to click on this color drop down, and I'm going to make it a 4-tone wave. So right here I'm going to do the 3-tone. I'm going to drag this over a little bit and I'm going to add one. What we're actually going to do is close this in the middle like this. So you got 2 halves basically. And on the first node, what we're going to do is we're going to drag it white, and on our brightness meter here, we're going to make it a really dark white. Really dark. Right here I got a hex code of 0F0F0F. And that's what we're going to use for this. I'm going to make sure I copy this code, and I'm going to paste this in the 3rd node that we have available here too. Just like that. And the 2nd node is going to be invisible, and the last node is going to be invisible. Just like this. That looks good. What we're going to do is we're going to change our width percentage to 200, and we're going to make our speed 30. Our angle, we're going to switch to 60 degrees. And everything looks good there. We're going to hit save. Alright, so it looks really dark on the Synapse program, but in real life it's actually lit up quite a bit of the keyboard. Once you've done this, what we're going to do is we're going to go through and we're going to select half of our keys like a checkerboard style, and we're going to change the angle. So holding control, we're just going to start selecting a bunch of random keys in here. And I just kind of like to try and even them out and make it somewhat like a checkerboard effect. Alright, so once you have your keys selected, go ahead and grab the angle, and we're going to change that over here to 300 degrees. Everything else should be the same. Hit save. And that's all there is for the background. Now we're going to get started on the letters for spelling out Dr. Disrespect. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and add a new wave layer. And I'm going to change the name of this new layer to Dr. Disrespect 1. That looks good. And now what we're going to do, and I've done this in past videos, to spell out letters, we're using small sections of waves to kind of spell out a word. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the letter D, and I'm going to come over here to my color pattern, and I'm going to change my color pattern to a 2-tone, and I'm going to drag it all the way over here to the right and close off that right node. Delete the far right one and add in another node, that just kind of gives us a really good spacing. You're going to want to make the right node red and the left node invisible. I'm going to close this in just a little bit more, just like this. So now that we have our color done, we're going to come down here to speed and we're going to change this to 2. You're going to make your speed 2. Everything else looks good, and I'm going to hit save. So now when this wave goes into effect, what it's going to do is it's going to light the letter D up with red real quick, and then for the rest of the wave it's going to be invisible. And now what we're going to do is we're going to move on to R, but before we do that, we're going to click on our D key, copy that lighting effect, paste it into R, just like that. Now click on your color gradient bar, and what you're going to do is you're going to make the far left node red. You're going to make the right node invisible, and you're going to add a new node and then slide that all the way in, and that's going to be invisible. So what you're doing is you're slowly moving the nodes over to the left one at a time until you spell out a word. So this same wave effect will be on several letters, and as soon as it goes invisible, the next one lights up, and as soon as that one goes invisible, the next one lights up. That's how you spell out a word. So I'm just going to go through this process until I spell out Dr. Disrespect. Everything on that looks good. I'm going to hit save. Before you move on to the next letter, just make sure you copy the previous letter's lighting effect. That just keeps your nodes all in a line. So we did doctor. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do a 2-node space. So let me show you what I mean by that. So we did doctor. Now to spell the word dis, I have to use the D key again. And I can't change that on the same effect layer, or else it will overwrite my first letter D. So what I have to do is I have to right click on the Dr. Disrespect wave layer, and I need to duplicate that. And I'm going to just double click on this, and I'm going to change this to Dr. Disrespect 2. Okay. So once we've done that, I'm going to click on Dr. Disrespect 2. I'm going to click back on my D key. I'm going to delete the effect on R as well, because those are still saved under our first wave. And what you're going to do is you're going to paste your R color effect into D, and we're going to click on that color gradient. And what we're going to do is we're going to add 2 nodes, 1, 2, and we're just tightening these up. So right now, the second from the last key is our red key. We're going to move this over 2 spots. So 1, 2. This one's going to be red, and there'll be an invisible one on each side of this red one. Everything else needs to be deleted. So this gives us a little bit of a space in our words. So you got an invisible, a red, and an invisible. Just like this. Hit save. And now we'll move on to I. And when I move back onto I, because I haven't used the I key yet, I'm going to go back into Dr. Disrespect 1, and I'm going to put that effect on the I. Just make sure you copy the most recent D key that you made. Go back into Dr. Disrespect 1, click on that I key, paste it in. And now we're just going to move our red over to the left a little bit more. So this far left node we're going to make red. We're going to make the second node invisible. Delete the last node and hit the plus sign to add a new one. Drag this over, make it invisible. Looks good. Hit save. Make sure you copy the I key. And now we're going to move on to S. Click on S, paste it. Click on your color gradient. Same thing. Make the left node red. Middle node invisible. Far right node we're going to delete. Hit that add, drag the new node in, and make that invisible. Just like this. And now we have to move back onto the R. So because R is going to be a duplicate letter again, what we're going to do is we're going to copy the S and we're going to go into Dr. Disrespect 2. This is for all of our duplicate letters. Click on that R key and paste it. After we paste it, do the same thing again. Make the left node red, middle node invisible, delete the right node, add a new one, slide that in and pinch it, make that invisible. Just like this. And we're going to do this for the rest of Dr. Disrespect's name. Alright guys, so I finished my Dr. Disrespect words. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here on the left and I'm going to add a group. And I'm going to rename this group to Dr. Disrespect. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add these layers that we made into this group. Okay, so this just keeps things organized a little bit. So now what I'm going to do is the number lighting for 1993 and 1994. If you have a 10 keyless keyboard, you can also do this with your number keys at the top of your keyboard, but I have a number pad, so I'm going to use my number pad. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into Dr. Disrespect 1 and I'm going to click on the D key and I'm going to copy it. What this is going to allow me to do is it's going to start by copying this code. I can begin my 1993 lighting as soon as Dr. Disrespect lighting starts for spelling that word. So they'll both start simultaneously. So I'm going to go ahead and close that group again and I'm going to create a new wave layer. And I'm going to rename this new wave layer to Blockbuster Champ. Just like that. And I'm going to hit enter. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to click on the 1 key and I'm going to paste in that effect from Dr. Disrespect. And I'm just going to click on this drop down and I'm going to make this red light. I'm going to make it like a yellow, more of like a gold is what I'm shooting for, you know, for trophies. So now that I've changed the color, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit save and I'm going to copy the lighting effect on that and I'm going to paste that into the 9 key, just like that. And same thing I did with the red, I'm going to do with the yellow. I'm going to make the left node yellow. Actually, I'm going to copy this hex code and I'm going to make the left node that same color. Take the right node and make that invisible. And then you're going to add a new node, pinch it in, make that invisible. Same thing we did with the red, we're also going to do with the gold for 1993, 1994. Here's a note though, while you're making this, you're going to use 9 4 times. So you're going to use it twice in 1993 and you're going to use it twice in 1994. So what you're going to need is 4 wave layers to be able to pull this off. Alright guys, so I created all of my 1993, 1994 keyboard lighting effects. So what I'm going to do once again is add a new group, rename this group to Blockbuster Champ, just to clean up my effect layers a little bit. Alright guys, so I finished the Dr. Disrespect lighting, I finished the 1993, 1994 lighting. All that's left to do is his logo effect on a keyboard. Before we get into that, what I'd like to do is explain waves a little bit to you again. So go ahead and create a new wave layer, and I want to show you guys something. I'm just going to hide these other layers for a second. So if you have a wave and you select multiple vertical lines and you choose this 3-tone pattern here, and I have this color and I want it to go up at an up angle. The way that you can get all 4 keys to light up at the exact same time, you have to change the color pattern for each key. So let me show you. So as you can see, this is the same color pattern throughout all of the keys. So if I tweak this color pattern even just a little bit, they'll start all at the same time. So if I click on the D key, I'm going to click on this color gradient, click on my color green, and I'm just going to tweak this a little bit. At the very end, I'm going to take off 0 and I'm going to put a 1. Just by making that small change like that, and I hit save. Now the D key and the 3 key, you can see they're lighting at the exact same time. I'm going to do this effect. I'm going to do this with all 4 keys. Go to the E key. I'm going to click on my gradient, click on that green. This time I'm going to change the second digit to a 1 and hit save. Same thing with the 3 key. Click on that color gradient, click on the green, and I'm going to change the last digit to a 1 and the second digit to a 1. That makes all 4 of them different. I'll hit save. Now all 4 will light up at the exact same time. We're going to use this idea to make Dr. Disrespect's logo show up on the keyboard at the same exact time. Alright guys, so we're going to do his logo. So what we want to do, I'm going to unhide my layers here. I'm going to go back into Dr. Disrespect effect layers, and I'm going to grab the effect I used for the T key, which is the very last color I used. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to copy this lighting effect. I'm going to close that group and I'm going to go back into my new wave. I'm just going to name this wave logo. Go back into my new wave, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold control and select the outline of the keys I'm going to use for his logo. So for this, I'm going to choose Alt, these keys, the other Alt, just like this, basically all the keys around the space bar, and I'm going to select these keys just like that. Okay, so you got F keys 1 through 8, and you got 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9, and then all around the space bar. I'm going to paste in that lighting effect that we used for the T. Paste it in there just like that. I'm going to go into this design, and first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change the angle up to 0 degrees. Alright. Second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add in a double or triple space if you want. So on this left node, I'm going to click on that. I'm going to hit one addition, and then I'm going to add another new one. This one's going to be red. I'm going to add one more, actually 2 more. So I'm going to put one on the far left, which is going to be invisible, and one right here, which is also going to be red. So just kind of tighten that in, and you can delete everything right of this invisible one right here. So once I delete these out, now you can see in my color pattern I have a good sized chunk of red lighting lit up at the very end of my gradient. So what it's going to do is it's going to cycle through all the numbers, all the words we use creating that wave effect on the right side of the gradient, and as soon as those are cut off, it'll go into this red. So that looks good. I'm going to click off. Everything all looks good. Hit save. And now what we have to do is we have to change the color very slightly so that all light up at the exact same time. So you do this by rows. So I'm going to click on the bottom row. I'm going to click all the keys that I have lit up on the bottom row. Actually, I'm going to leave the bottom row the same. I'm not going to touch it. I'm going to grab all the keys on the second row, click on my gradient, click on the red, and I'm just going to put a 1 at the very end. And same thing with the other node on the right. I'm going to click on that, make a 1 at the end. That looks good. I'm going to hit save. Now I'm going to go to my number keys here, 2 through 4, hold control, 7 through 9, click on that color gradient, click on your color drop down. I'm going to go to the 4th number here, and I'm going to make that a 1. Same thing on the right node, 4th number, make that a 1. Hit save. And last row, I'm going to grab all the F keys, click on that color drop down. I'm going to make the fourth and the last node a 1. That looks good. I'm going to just copy that, go to my second node, and paste that in. So these are actually technically different colors of red, but it's so minimal the human eye is never going to notice the difference. Now what I also did to enhance this effect is on his logo, make sure you copy his lighting. And what we're going to do is we're going to duplicate this effect layer, this logo effect layer, and click in that new effect layer and delete out all the effects you have for it. And we're going to select this half chunk right here that the lighting is involved with. I'm going to take off escape and just kind of make it a little rounded, kind of like this. And I'm going to paste in that red lighting. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this color drop down, click on that red, and I'm going to make this black, but I'm going to change the second digit to 1. Okay, that looks good, and I'm going to paste that on the right node as well and hit save. So same thing with the black. I'm going to go through and I'm going to slightly change the number 1 digit just so that they all light up at the same time. So with this duplicated logo effect, we're going to double click on that and make sure we make that logo black, just so we know it's the black. And you want the black to be underneath the red on the priority list. That way the red is seen and not the black. And that is all there is to the Dr. Disrespect keyboard lighting.
The name. Is Doctor. Disrespect. I'm the 2-time, back-to-back, consecutive years. The 1993-1994 Blockbuster Video Game Championship right in front of the Killer Whale exhibit. I'm an international video game superstar. I'm 6'8", 37-inch vertical leap, a jawline that will cut, slice, deliver anything that you can ever dream of right to your front door. Nothing but success. Nothing but success. That's what my life's about. Period.
Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button as well as the bell icon. That way you guys know as soon as I upload my future videos. As always, you can follow me on my social media accounts, Instagram and Twitter. I always upload teasers on there as well as some other things that you guys might be interested in. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you guys in the next one.